Hi, welcome to my presentation about AP Literature and Composition. I'm Jennifer Beach and I'll be your child's teacher this year. Here's a little bit about me. I've been at West Springfield since the mid-90s, and before that I taught at a Catholic school in Maryland for 4 years. I've also been teaching online for FCPS for 13 years, summer school and in the evenings. So the pivot to the virtual world was pretty easy for me. I really enjoy teaching online, and I think there's a lot of creative stuff that we can do to have a great learning experience. So I'm looking forward to this year and starting out virtually with the students. I have spent 6 years as an AP Literature exam reader, which is scoring the AP exams, which was a wonderful experience. It gave me a chance to actually spend a week just reading essays all day to really learn what the College Board is looking for. And I also have a little bit there about my educational background for you. I taught AP for many years at West Springfield. I haven't taught it for a couple of years while I was working with the journalism program, but I'm back this year and I'm really excited about it. It's a great course, and for anybody who loves reading and literature, it's really exciting. So a little bit about the course. AP Literature is basically like a college intro to literature class for an English major. Students are going to focus on reading deeply, analyzing literature, and writing about their analysis of literature. So we do not focus on nonfiction in AP Literature. It's fiction, specifically novels, poetry, and plays. One of the goals of the College Board is that students are reading from different eras, starting from the Middle Ages and coming up to the present day. So we have our College Board approved curriculum here at West Springfield, and we have sort of narrowed it down a little bit to make sure that we can fit all the skills and all the learning that the students need into the online environment this year. So our visible learning standards for the class are here. These are based on the College Board 7 skill categories, which you can see in the orange box. These seem kind of basic if you look at them, like explain the function of character. But what this means is that students have to be able to delve into a work of literature and really understand the ways that the author has created the character, understand the character, and be able to explain it in writing. So our visible learning standards are all posted on Schoology, and we will also be giving students feedback in each of these categories, as well as using things in My AP Classroom where students can take skill checks along the way to see how they're doing, to kind of check their mastery and check their own understanding of each area. So throughout AP Literature and the course this year, homework or asynchronous work that they do independently will be due each week on Monday night. So that will give them the entire week, weekend, and that Monday for independent work. And independent work in our class will include a lot of active reading. So in order to analyze literature, you have to read a lot of literature. And we want students to really focus on reading deeply and actively and with an analytical mindset. So they will do assignments to encourage that, to sort of walk them through the reading and help them figure out what to look for. They'll practice with literary terminology and vocabulary. They will practice their writing skills for writing and literary argumentation. They'll also be doing some research this year and other projects. So FCPS specifies that AP students should spend 75 minutes outside of class on their asynchronous work. With literature, it's difficult because some students are faster readers than others, so we're trying to hit as close to 75 as we can. And sometimes students may need to plan out and chunk their reading because they might, if they try to read for too long, they might sort of slow down or lose their focus. And in the same way with their writing assignments, sometimes if they take smaller chunks instead of trying to do all 75 minutes at a time, I think that they'll be a lot more successful. Our late work policy is here, and it's also listed in our syllabus, so they can still get half credit for a smaller formative assessment or homework if it's late within 2 days. And if it's a big summative assignment like a paper, we would go down 10% per day. So classwork, or our synchronous work that we do together in AP Literature, will be very important. So in class, we won't just be discussing it. We will sometimes go off and send them, go work on this, and then come back and we'll discuss it. So we will be doing whole class and small group discussions, mini lectures, writing conferences. In-class assignments, we'll be doing assessments. Sometimes we'll take time to read and analyze in class. So that class time is going to be vitally important this year. And our class sessions are interactive, so we really want students to practice speaking on the mic, writing in the chat, working in groups. They do not have to be on camera, but they do need to be present and be able to hear and speak to their classmates and to the teacher. So let's talk about the AP Literature exam. This year, so far, the College Board is saying they are planning the regular exam that they traditionally do. Last year, they modified it a little bit, but this year they're saying it won't be modified. So we will wait and see. But we want to prepare the kids for the full exam. So the full exam consists of a 1-hour multiple choice literary analysis questions on poems and prose passages. It's very, very challenging, high-level reading with challenging questions, which we're going to practice throughout the year. Then they have 3 40-minute essays. One of them is an analysis of a poem they've never seen. One is a prose passage from a novel that they've never seen. And one is an open essay where they choose a novel or play that they've read, and they write an essay to a prompt that they haven't seen before. So we want to focus throughout the year on preparing them for those 3 types of essays and for that multiple choice. So we break this down into 2 categories that you're going to see reflected in the grade book, and it sort of breaks down in the AP skills for the class in our visible learning. So the first is literary analysis. So this includes the reading, the active reading, the annotation, all of the vocabulary that they will use to discuss what authors do in works of literature, being able to make an interpretive stance and analyze and pull evidence out of a work of literature. And it's going to really require reading complex texts that have, older novels from the 1800s, 1900s, and really getting used to reading complicated syntax. Part of what we'll do for this is have students read an independent work to help broaden their categories and the number of readings that they have available for that question 3 on the AP exam. So I'll talk more about that in just a minute. The second AP literature skill for the year is what we call literary argumentation. And this is the writing about literature. So being able to write in a thesis-based way about paragraphs, short responses, and full essays and timed writings where they analyze a piece of literature. We will also include 2 other types of writing. One is the senior research project, which will focus on literary argumentation. And the other one they're working on right now, which is the college essay, which is a personal narrative. It doesn't totally fit within literary argumentation, but we know our students need that practice and that help with writing a strong college essay. So we want to give them those narrative skills as well at the beginning of the year. We have some digital resources we'll be using this year. Pearson MyLab is our online textbook. There is a hard copy version which students will be getting in their textbook bags that they're going to pick up curbside if they requested one. They can also read all the work online or on an app that lets them read on their phones or their tablet. So we've worked on getting them signed up for the online version in class and giving them the information for the app. They'll also use My AP Classroom, which we'll be signing up for, where they can go in and take skills checks to track their mastery of their AP skills. So we have a long list of novels and plays this year. They will not read every single one of these. Some of these will be choices from, where they'll pick from a list, but some of them will be core texts. Right now we are definitely going to be doing, we think, A Doll's House, where is it? Their Eyes Were Watching God and Oedipus Rex. And then we're going to see how our timing goes with the virtual learning and see how much else we can fit in. We'll probably fit in a Shakespeare play, either Hamlet or Macbeth, and maybe one other play, possibly Fences by August Wilson. And then we'll pick from among the other ones, students will have a choice. And finally, let me tell you a little bit about the independent reading project. We're going to ask students to pick 3 books over the course of the year to read independently and do assignments and projects on. So they're going to continue to practice that literary analysis and literary argumentation on a novel or play that they have chosen. Now, this must be of literary merit as decreed by the College Board, which means it's something analyzable that really has that literary element to it. It's not just something you would necessarily read for fun. We will give them a long list of every work that's ever appeared on the AP exam to give them an example of the types of books they can choose. We also ask that parents approve the choices. Some of the things on the list may be more adult or have scenes of violence or, sexuality or something like that. Others will not. So we want to make sure that parents approve them. So we'll be asking you for permission slips. And please help your student to make good choices. They have a lot on their plates this year, so we don't want them necessarily to pick a novel like War and Peace that will take them all of their time to read. They can get as much value from a play that takes a much shorter time to read but has a lot of literary elements in it, or a shorter, more modern novel. So we really want them to make good choices so that they will be very engaged with the reading. So a little bit about grading quickly, and then I'll wrap up. We're going to use a rolling grade book this year, and we're dividing our grade book into the literary analysis, which is 45%, and literary argumentation, all that writing, which is 55% of the grade. And these align with the way the College Board weights the scoring on the AP exam. Grades will either be formative for the smaller practice assignments, quizzes, drafts, things like that, or summative for those final assessment grades like tests, timed writings, projects, etc. And we will have a final exam at the end of the year, which will be worth 10% of the grade. So finally, to wrap up, how can you help your child to be successful in AP Literature? Please support them as you see them reading for homework. A lot of students think reading is something you just do quickly to get it over with, but for AP Literature, they need to really be engaging and reading deeply and with attention to detail. Help them make selections for independent reading that they enjoy and will really want to read. If they pick something and you see that it seems like a chore to them, have them contact me before it gets to be too late so they can switch books and pick something that they will really want to read. We've even had families where older siblings or parents are like, oh, I'll reread that book with you. We can discuss it and talk about it. And that could be really supportive of them as well. You don't have to do that, but just make sure they're reading something they really want to read. If they become discouraged by the amount of reading, encourage them to chunk it out in shorter amounts, and encourage them to ask for help with their writing or with anything in class by contacting the teacher. And please ask them to contact me sooner rather than later so I can help them before it's too late and help them get started on the right path. That's it for my presentation. Again, I'm always available by email, so please feel free to reach out if there's anything I need to know about your child to help them succeed this year. Thank you and have a great night.